Where'll you be going?
Texas?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Go on, make it happen.
And now here's Steve and Michelle.
Y'all ready to rodeo? The chaps are on, the horses are saddled, and the excitement is in the air. It's time to celebrate the best season in Texas. It's rodeo season on Mallet and Michelle in Dripping Springs. I'm Michelle Lewis, and this is my little buckaroo, Steve Mallet.
Giddy up, Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Steve. Giddy up. Oh, giddy up.
You are really good at that, coming up with those catchy titles like that. I'm impressed. So, got to thank our sponsors today. Can't do the show without our wonderful sponsors.
Nomic Power Solutions.
Backup Power Generation. South Star Bank.
Ooh, South Star Bank. Really love those guys over there. And Jovi Belterra. Wow, they are so nice.
They're nice, and they're just always busy doing something over there.
They are so nice.
That's got to be a great place to
I asked
live.
those women how they get any work done over there with all
people coming and going.
with Larry Mallet going over there and
they
bugging them all
just
the time.
smile and say, "We're just taking care of
That's
business."
right. And then, of course, Mallet Integrity Team Real
Wonderful,
Estate.
fabulous Mallet Integrity Team.
Who is that guy?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's a bunch of us. It's all of us. So
That's
thank you
right.
to all those sponsors. Our guest today, Willem Visser, who I have never met, but you know quite well, it sounds
Well,
like.
I know his wife. I've known his wife for over 20 years, back when we all lived in Shady Hollow, which was eons and eons ago, and
Yeah.
our kids were little, and we used to switch off babysitting each other's kids, which was nice. And then we used to rent water slides from them when they first started this Amanzi party rentals, and now it's a whole conglomerated.
They do all kinds.
multi-business,
Apparently,
crazy.
it sounds like they're the largest party rental business or event rental business in the country. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we're going to get Willem in here in a little bit. I have a public service announcement.
I did not do it.
Yeah, you may have actually. From my favorite thing in the whole world, sorry, D, social media, specifically TikTok, people are posting videos now that you can eat the packing peanuts that all of your stuff from Amazon comes shipped in. And they're saying that because these packing peanuts, which now are made of like potato starch, because they melt in your mouth, they are edible.
Are these the same people that eat Tide Pods?
Probably.
Because I also saw a TikTok about people now saying that rich people are now eating mermaids. So I thought that's where you were going, and I was going to do a story on it.
This is just your typical average everyday person opening their Amazon package and popping those
I
peanuts
thought
in
they
their
were
mouth.
styrofoam.
Some
like
of them are
this.
styrofoam, but some of like the white ones,
Like
some
the-
of them, yeah, right, just like that Chick-fil-A cup. Some of them will melt like when you put water on them. And so people are saying they're edible. But here's the facts. They're not edible. And what people are saying is, well, they're biodegradable. But here's the PSA. Biodegradable does not mean safe to eat.
That's right. They're not produced in food-safe conditions.
No, they're probably scooped up off the floor and thrown in that Amazon box. And the way that they're made with some kind of seed oils or something, they can cause cancer and chronic inflammation. So do not eat the packing peanuts. There's your PSA for the day.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of, I swear.
It's courtesy of social media.
True.
Have you ever seen anything on social media like, wow, that's a great trend? These new things.
That's stupid. Well, speaking of news, I thought I would talk a little bit about some Dripping Springs news that's coming forth, because as I was driving to my beloved Chick-fil-A that has been closed for a week or a month. I'm sorry, a month.
They knocked that construction out. They just got to it and finished it.
They've got a big covered area now, and now you have to go to a separate area with mobile, which is what I do. So I'm very happy. But what I'm most excited for, most excited for, and I've been watching and I've been waiting, Cedric and I also, is the Shipley Donuts. I'm so excited.
Okay.
I love Shipley Donuts. They are Texas born and bred. Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. When are they coming?
I don't know. They just put the brand new sign up yesterday.
Oh, there's a sign up. Where's it at?
It's Sawyer Ranch in 290.
Right on the corner?
It's right there in that little shopping center right there.
Oh, okay.
But there's some other news. You know, Cousin Louie opened up. Have
Yep.
you eaten there yet?
Nope. We're going to go Friday night.
Todd and I ate there after church. It was really good. I heard that they were getting out some of the kinks at the very beginning.
It
So
happens
if
in every
it
restaurant.
always happens. If you tried it at first and you were like, try again. Christian Brothers Automotive is opening up, which is they've always kind of been a well-known, established place. That we used to go to the one over on Southwest in Southwest Austin. Wells Fargo, they're opening up a brand new branch in Belterra. I did ask
It's
around.
right across on the same side as Chipotle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I asked Susan Kimball with the chamber and asked her if she knew that they were going to be closing the old Wells Fargo. And she said she doesn't think so right now. So they're going to have, it's just going to be another branch.
I think, that's a shame.
I think
that's a historic building. I'd hate to see them shut that. Did you know that when they were building that, they were putting up the siding on the outside and it was kind of white and orange for a little while, and people on Facebook were saying, are they building a Hooters across from Belterra?
I'm sure people would really like the Hooters for sure.
No, just a bank.
No, just a bank. But the latest news was as of this morning. I don't know, because I know you run at the ass crack of dawn in the morning.
Love it.
Did you see helicopters this morning when you were driving back?
Nope.
Okay, so apparently it is not only rodeo season, it is car break-in season, Grand Theft Auto season, and Belterra was once again hit this morning. The Belterra apartments and Belterra apparently really on Lexington, and they had the helicopters and the drones circling. People heard them say they had 3 people caught. Apparently there was one that was still out there, but they were rifling through people's cars. I don't understand why you guys are keeping your cars unlocked and with your guns in your...
Well, even if they're locked, sometimes they'll break the window. Just don't leave anything up in the passenger area that people can see. If you have a backpack or something, or a computer or a wallet, lock it. Either take it in the house or lock it in the trunk.
Sorry,
Oh, that was a good look. Did
headphones,
you get that on YouTube?
Yeah, I did. My headphones fell off. Well, somebody actually saw a discarded laptop in the road, and it was from UT. And so I guess they figured out they couldn't get into that. But traditionally, it's not people that are living in the neighborhood.
No, it could be,
they're gangs that are coming from outside of the
yeah,
area.
well, South by is on, which we'll talk about in a minute. But, there lots of people coming here. Maybe while they come here for South by, and then while they're thinking about it, they go, let's go steal some stuff.
Maybe.
From the affluent community of Dripping Springs.
Yeah, who knows? Well, like what I said at the beginning, it's also rodeo season. Dripping Springs Rodeo is much later. It's not until May, so it's much, much later. But the big Houston Rodeo is going on, which is the best rodeo in all of rodeo land. That goes on from March 4th to March 23rd. I'm going there this Saturday.
Lucky you.
The Austin Rodeo is going on. I was there this last Saturday. It was just the barbecue cook-off, but the carnival's going on. If you guys are looking for something to do with the kids, they do have the mutton busting, and I don't know, the barbecue. The barbecue was this past weekend, but they have the fair and rodeo from the 14th through the 29th. Obviously, I think next week, by the time this airs, it's going to be spring break here in Dripping Springs. So traffic should be a little bit better driving around for school. We shall see. Fort Worth they already had their rodeo in January, and San Antonio already had their rodeo in February. So this is just
I wish the Dripping Springs one would happen a little earlier, because I've been there in May and June, and it's freaking hot.
It's really, really hot. But
roof.
along with rodeo season and break-in season and the donut place opening, it's also fire season in Dripping Springs. With the winds, the burn ban is going on until March 12th, which is tomorrow, but they may extend it. But I think it was last week, alerts were sent out on people's phones. And that all kind of comes through the Hays County Sheriff's Office. And it's the Hays County Office of the Emergency Services. And you can sign up for text or emails. You can get
I didn't
these.
sign up for them, and everybody that was around me got them.
I signed up for them. I signed up for them today because I think I used to be on it, and I think they changed the system.
I think that's a flawed system, because Holly was driving home and she got those text alerts, and it was for a fire in Kyle.
Yeah.
And she was calling me all panicked.
Yeah,
Do we need to evacuate?
Yeah, it said evacuation. I think
it wasn't very specific. It said the neighborhood, and you can't go on Google Maps and search for a neighborhood. If it said it was off of this street, you could search that street. They need to be a little bit better about telling people where that is. Just telling the entire county that you've got to evacuate is I think, a mistake.
Yeah, so they need to just kind of fix that little flawed system. But I bet you didn't know this. The Hays County Sheriff's Office now has a podcast. It's going to provide a fun and engaging way to inform and connect with their community. So
That's cool.
They're not quite on Apple. They're on Podchaser, I think is what it's called right now. But then they will be on all of the other platforms. But I don't know what kind of format it's going to be, if they're going to take questions or viewers or guests. Or
do we know who's running that? Or do they have a host for that?
I don't. I'm going to reach out to Sheriff Hippolito and ask him. But I thought that's, another good way to kind of stay informed.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
But yeah, so there's a lot going on right now in the springtime.
There's a lot going on. Well, I've been reading about something that the Texas legislature passed late last year. It's a new provision of the Texas Property Code, brought to you by Mallet Integrity Team, that requires the appraisal districts to create a plan for periodic reviews of homestead exemptions to confirm that the recipients of the homestead exemption still qualify for the exemption. So, remember they've increased how much the homestead exemption is.
Yeah, so what does that mean in real world language?
Part of it is the people that are getting that exemption, they just want to make sure that they're qualified. So, and every county is going to do this different. So right now, Travis County is mailing out verification. So if you get something in the mail from Travis County about your homestead, don't ignore it, because if you don't respond, they will remove your homestead exemption and you'll lose a lot of tax money.
That sounds like a good gateway to scams and frauds too.
It does, yeah. So, well, if you get it in the mail, be careful and don't verify it before. Go to the website or call them to make sure. But right now, Hays County is offering both online and mail-in applications to confirm that you're qualified.
Can you preemptively do it instead of waiting for? Do you know that?
I don't know that
because,
well, if you don't have one now, you can apply for it. But what this is you have one, and they're going to send you something and say, "Are you still qualified?" And you got to send them your ID showing that you live there. And if you don't, they will remove it. Here's what I don't know. I was trying to get some clarification on this. So say you get something in the mail this month and it's asking, is your homestead, are you still qualified for your homestead? And they remove it. And then a month later you find out, hey, you guys removed my homestead. I don't know if you go back in and reapply, if they will apply it to this, say, 2025, or if they're going to charge you the higher tax amount until they put the homestead back on.
Because the U.S. Postal Service is so reliable.
It's so reliable. Those guys are just the bomb.
Okay, who is sending? It's the appraisal district?
It's the appraisal district. Williamson County, I think, is doing it all electronically. So every county is going to do it differently.
This is a stupid idea.
The biggest takeaway from this for our listeners is, if you get something in the mail or an email, don't assume that it's just spam or somebody trying to sell you something. Verify it and make sure that you're not going to lose your homestead, because it's a lot of money now.
So this is coming down from the state of Texas? Is that what this is coming down from?
Yes.
Okay.
From the Texas legislature.
I think property taxes are a scam and we need to do away with all of them.
From your mouth to God's ear, I hope. Yeah,
totally.
So there's your public service announcement about your homestead taxes.
Do you have any vacations planned here pretty soon? Aren't you going to Grand Canyon or something?
We're going to go to the Grand Canyon in April to do rim to rim to rim, and then hopefully we're going to go backpacking in July again. We haven't planned that trip out. But what about you?
So I'm going to Carousel. I think it's how you say it.
Carousel
in November. And then we're looking at going with friends to Charleston. And we're probably going to go to Oregon to see my son. But we always fly Southwest. Like Southwest is my go-to. I have a Southwest credit card. We put everything on our Southwest cards, like everything. So much so, and my husband travels for business, so he's A-list preferred. And I'm also on his companion pass, so it's nice. So I can fly for free. Yeah. But Southwest just basically screwed all their people that are very loyal. I have been a loyal Southwest Airlines flyer since the 70s when my parents were divorced, and my mom would stick me.
That was about when the airline was new.
It was brand new. It'd stick me and my two brothers on a plane to New Orleans, and we'd go see my dad, and we'd have the run of the airplane. Well, their whole motto was bags fly free. Nope, no more.
Oh, no way.
No more.
No bags fly free?
Unless you are A-list preferred or business select, you will get, so if you're A-list preferred, business select, you will get 2 free checked bags and 1 for credit card holders, right? I always took 2 bags because I overpack. All others will now pay for luggage starting May 28th. So from May 28th on, so they have a new CEO in Southwest Airlines. They've also messed around with the earning level, the points that you get, the rapid reward points. So it used to be like so many points for your want to get away tickets and your business class, and now they've cut all of those down. So that was actually immediately implemented.
Wow.
So
when are they going to do the assigned seating thing? I thought that was going to be rolled out.
So that's supposed to be in 2026.
Okay.
But I know that Southwest Airlines was really hurting, and this new, I think his name is Elliot, this new CEO that has come in and has really changed things around. So a lot of people are ticked. You know what? I mean, I fly Southwest because not only because I fly free with Todd, but I use my rapid rewards points and I get free tickets. But if I'm going somewhere else now, I'm going to start looking around at other airlines.
Another airline that, like, there's the real budget ones like
Frontier.
JetBlue and Frontier.
Well, JetBlue's
and
not as
what's
budget. I mean, JetBlue is kind of like the equivalent of what Southwest Airlines, I think, used to be. That you have a little bit roomier.
Yeah,
and
the thing about Southwest is they have a lot of flights that go out of Austin.
Yes.
JetBlue doesn't have that many. What's the other one? Allegiant?
no, like
is it Allegiant?
Allegiant is the one like you have like chickens going up and down the aisle.
Yeah, but I think they have a couple flights that go out of
That's in
Austin.
actually whole different terminal.
You have
to
in
go.
the general aviation terminal. Yeah, but
You have to check your foul at the gate.
yeah. But I mean, Southwest is still pretty unique in what they offer compared to like Delta and American, and those other airlines. They're always way more expensive. And a lot of places that I like to fly, they don't have direct flights.
I know Southwest had a lot and they just opened it where they were flying to Europe. I saw.
Oh, really?
And I think they did some partnership. Like you can fly to Hawaii on Southwest, and they partner with Hawaiian Airlines. And
Okay.
I think it's Icelandic Air. Don't quote me on that, but I think. But I don't know. There's some changes. I'm not happy. I mean, hopefully Todd maintains his A list and.
Well, now I got to check that out because we were planning if we're going to go backpacking in Oregon this summer, we're definitely going to fly Southwest because they fly direct. Do they fly direct?
No, they don't fly direct.
It's Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, well, I don't care then.
Yeah, whatever.
I want to talk a little bit about, we got invited to go to South by Southwest over the weekend, and I want to talk about that. But before I do that, this is kind of a segue into that. Have you ever waited in a long time in a line for a concert or a sporting event or a restaurant?
Yes.
Like, how long would you wait? What's the longest you think you've ever waited?
Not a restaurant. I thought waiting in line for barbecue was stupid. So Franklin Barbecue, I've never waited in hours and hours in line. But for a concert, with my daughter or to buy concert tickets, I probably waited like 4 or 5 hours to get
That's
tickets.
actually pretty short. There's some events and things in the big cities where people wait hours and hours and hours, like 10, 15, 16 hours. There are now companies, though, you can outsource your standing in line. So
I've seen that. Yep.
They're called line standers. And there's apps. There's a couple of them. One's TaskRabbit, same old line dudes, and Skip the Line. And they all charge a different way, but most of them, it's a set fee for a certain number of hours. You can pay somebody to go stand in your place in line. And some people are mad about that. It's like, well, you're paying them, but it doesn't change. The person behind you doesn't affect them at all. They don't get in any later because there's a line dude. Other than maybe you could argue, well, if you didn't pay that person, then you wouldn't be in line.
I'd probably be a little ticked off if I sat in line for 10 hours and then the person in front of me all of a sudden switched places with this freshly peed.
Yeah.
hydrated person.
Hydrated. Well, it's actually getting more common for a lot of really high demand restaurants to not offer reservations. So this line thing is starting to become more of a deal where, if you want to go to this really, really popular restaurant, the only way to get in is to wait in line. So people are hiring these line standers to wait in line for them.
You know what was funny? Speaking of a restaurant, so Todd and I had reservations at Red Ash. This was in December. And Red Ash, the original one, had burned down. It's very popular, right? And so we had reservations, and we got there. I think our reservations were like at 5:30 or 5, whatever. Let's say they opened up at the exact same time. So we got there about 10, 15 minutes before. So we're in line, or we're not in line. The door's not open yet. So we're sitting there waiting. All of a sudden, this whole group of people started coming in and started getting, because we were kind of off to the side, just, giving them a little bit of time to open the door. And we were there first, right? So they unlocked the door, and this whole group of people start coming in there and start saying that, we want a table, because I guess they're trying to get in before all the reservation people. And I just skedaddled my way up at the top.
Of course you did, Michelle.
Well, yeah, I'm like, I have a reservation.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's just so maybe that's what people are doing is they're getting there really early. And
there's a couple things that are happening. So like same old line dudes charge $50 for 2 hours. If the weather's bad, which I think means if it's raining or if it's super hot, they charge more. Or cold. And what's happening a lot is people will pay to have somebody sit in line, and maybe they go, well, just wait in line, and then after 2 hours they're only halfway up and they go, forget it, and they don't even go in. So they paid the line dude and they don't even go in. That happens a lot.
Why would they do that?
Well, because they don't know. Is the wait 4 hours? Is it 6 hours? I don't know. So let's pay this guy $50. He stands there 2 hours. There's still an hour and a half wait. I'm like, I'm too hungry. I can't wait another hour and a half. And
I'm in it to win it. If I'm paying somebody and I'm in line, I'm going.
Well, I bet you, I don't know if these services are offered in Austin, but we got invited to go to South by Southwest on Friday for Jay Maselli's Red Thread House. And I'll bet you there's some line standers down there. There was so many people downtown in Austin. But that was very cool, wasn't it? We were sat in on some technology panels talking. The one that got me the most interested was the should AI be your friend? And that was pretty eye-opening, wasn't it?
It was.
That these technology companies are having conversations about how do they integrate these AI like robots and interfaces in our life?
Let's see if it's because my computer's not hooked up to my microphone. I was going to hook it up, but
oh gosh, Michelle.
Oh my
Michelle
gosh,
just
did you
broke
see
her
that?
mic. She just did that right on air. So I'll talk while you try and fix that.
Yeah,
but
okay.
There's an app that Sam Altman, who I'm going to stop for a second. Wow, a little technical difficulty there. Michelle's breaking the studio right now.
My microphone fell off.
Tech support came in and fixed your microphone. But they talked about this thing that Sam Altman's doing called Sesame.com. And for all our listeners, you should go. It's just www.sesame.com. And there's an AI interface that you can have conversations with. And I guarantee you, if you talk to them for 5 minutes, you will start to feel like you are talking to a human being.
Yeah,
and
that was
creepy.
creepy.
Creepy as hell.
It was creepy. We were playing with it the other day. There's the Milo and Maya version on Sesame.
Yeah.
And you can do the demo. And it was like, it was being sassy.
Yeah.
Milo was, the male was. He was sassy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So they talked about this uncanny divide, which is where we are right now, where we're all a little bit nervous about this whole AI thing, becoming friends with AI. And how do these tech companies cross that divide to where we're okay having robots in our house taking care of our kids and driving our cars and doing our shopping for us and handling our banking and all the things.
And dealing with our lonely parents, because that ethically I didn't have.
One of the guys on one of the panels was talking about, you say you have your 80-year-old mom and she's living alone and she doesn't have any friends. Well, you could have this AI in her house and she could talk to it all day and it would tell her about her day and prompt her to do things. And my thought was, doesn't that just prevent her from getting out of the house
That's
and
what I
actually
think.
making a real friend? And a woman in the audience said, a friend is something that you aspire to. You seek that person out and you invest in that person and you learn about them and they learn about you and you build a relationship. You're not doing any of that with AI.
No. And I see it happening right now with our youth and gaming.
Yeah.
And so even though there's a lot of times there's real people on the other side of the gaming, it's not tangible. They're not able to
Yep.
break bread with these
That's
people
right.
in person. But the thing that I'm most concerned about, I'm not for a lot of government regulation, but I think there needs to be some government regulation in some sort of disclaimer or notice that's saying you are either talking to AI or some
There
sort
is
of
some of that already, but I think it's more self-regulation. Like if you post a picture that's AI generated, I think it has to be watermarked. Not everybody's doing it, but I think it's supposed to be watermarked as generated by AI.
No, on TikTok, one of the things I see over and over and over again is these AI pictures of them taking. What are those things that attach? I can't remember what they're called. These things that attach to whales, those the shells or that they pick off.
Barnacles?
Barnacles. And so they're like these big boats will come up to a whale and they'll scrape the barnacles off. And you're like, it's so AI. And then like they did one like where there's a polar bear covered in barnacles. No, it's not.
Yeah. And some of it looks really
But it's
real.
hard to tell what is real and what's
Yeah.
not. And if you're talking to this guy, Milo, he's sassy. He's like me.
Well, he was picking up on your sass. That's how that works. So if you're real calm and demure and quiet, then Maya or Miles will be that same.
He even heard laughter in the back. Carlisle
Yeah.
was laughing in the back and goes, "Who's giggling back
Yeah,
there?"
yeah.
That was kind of weird.
Within a few minutes, you'll start to feel like you are talking to a human being. You know,
I kind of feel like that when I talk to you.
yeah, but you're not ever really talking to a human being. There probably are some things that will be good in the future. You know, like he was talking about somebody that is maybe developmentally handicapped and they could, self-driving automobiles. That maybe opens up the world to them in a way that, they're not capable of getting on a bus or a train, but they can get in a car that drives them to some place where they can have social interaction or a job or something. So there are some good things about this. The thing that creeps me out is these companies with billions and billions of dollars trying to figure out a way to make AI our friend. And I don't think there's a world that exists where AI will truly be our friend.
Well, my husband's an engineer, and we've talked about this a lot in our house because are we training AI to do his job? And eventually AI is going to be training AI, right? So they're not going to be any programmers per se. But then I was talking to my son who's in med school right now, and I'm like, aren't you kind of worried? And he said, well, there's a whole other AI portion to med school, the robotic surgeries and stuff like that. But there is nothing there's nothing going to be able to replace that human touch, that human connection.
I don't think that ever goes away. But it was a fascinating day. We got some content out of that, and I met some really cool people.
Steve peopled.
Yeah, I did. I peopled.
We got stuck in traffic, which
we
is
did.
awful.
Yep, South by Southwest traffic. But it was a fun time, and I thank Jay Maselli and Red Thread for having us out there. And I was tired after that. There was a lot going on down there.
Yeah, I was tired
It was fun.
too.
So let's take a little break and get Willem Visser in here and talk to him about what he's got going on. Hang on, sit tight. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of being left in the dark when the power goes out? Say goodbye to blackouts with Nomic Power Solutions.
As your full-service Generac dealer, they offer individually designed backup power solutions.
From start to finish, they've got you covered.
Nomic Power Solutions, keeping you powered up.
Call or text 512-387-4232 or visit nomicpower.com. Follow on Instagram at Nomic Power for updates. Nomic Power Solutions.
Protect your home, protect your family, stay ready. Southstar Bank has remained true to its Texas roots for over 100 years. A commitment to the people and communities they serve, along with flexible financial solutions, allow their clients to shine. Mortgage loans, checking accounts, or complete business solutions. Southstar Bank is your financial partner. Southstar Bank, trusted by professionals, backed by tradition, built for Texas.
SouthStarBank.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. NMLS 410624. Find your joy at Jovi Belterra. Life is better here. This vibrant 55 and up community is located in Dripping Springs, just right outside of Austin. 1 and 2 bedroom homes, resort style amenities, and just steps away from shops and restaurants. Forget the yard work. This is your time to relax, make new friends, and enjoy the life you've dreamed of. Find your joy at Jovi Belterra. Life is better here. Live JoviBelterra.com. 737-387-6870.
This show is brought to you in part by the Mallet Integrity Team, serving Dripping Springs, Austin, and the surrounding areas of Central Texas since 2004. When you need the best real estate advice and service, give them a call at 512-829-2062 or email them at malletintegrityteam.com. And now here's Steve and Michelle.
Welcome back. We are here with Willem Visser-Amanzi Party Rentals. You guys have probably rented from them before and you didn't even know it. Welcome, Willem.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So we always start the show talking about how people ended up in our area, but you grew up in South Africa.
You took the long way here.
You did.
Yeah.
The scenic route.
Yeah. And you didn't come from a wealthy family. Sounds like you had kind of a hard life when you were growing up. Tell us about that.
Yeah. My mom and dad divorced when I was 9 years old, and
Oh my gosh, you're already going to start. That's
Willem.
right. That's right.
Come on.
You came from 3 kids. Your mom, you started working at 9 years old. It said that you were selling newspapers to buy food.
yes. And so my mom was alone and had to raise 3 kids. And my dad was not in our life at that time for at least 2 years. And I had to learn survival techniques, there's not a lot of food and stuff like that. And so I found a job that I could sell newspapers on the corners. It's a little bit different than here that you go from house to house and there they buy it in the street. And so I would work every day and make my 2 rands at the time. And then I would take that money and go buy food for myself because I'm hungry. And then when I get back home, my mom got mad at me because I don't buy food for my brother and my sister.
Oh.
So, and I can still remember it. And but that was part of the survival technique when I was a little kid.
You know, I read also where it said that a donor saw your potential and paid for your high school education. So explain that to me. In South Africa, you had to pay to go to high school? Or it was like a private school?
No, it's not a private school. At the time, we live in like a village. It's outside of the main cities. And when I finished elementary school, it was 5th grade, how we call it, 7th grade actually, how we call it here. And I was supposed to go to a little town just next to where we grew up. And then this guy found out about me and that I should get better education. So I went to the main city and we would live in like a dormitory. Oh. And he helped paid for some of that cost at the dormitory. And it's not the same as here, but
why do you think he paid for that? What made you stand out that he wanted to pay for that?
I think he saw the potential that I could become more than the opportunities that I have. So he was really the first person that
saw that. How did you meet him at first?
I really haven't met him much. He was in the business group there in that town that was connected with the main city. And he just heard about me. I wasn't friends with him. My mom wasn't friends with him. He just...
that was a God thing for sure.
Did he do that for other kids too, or was it just you?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I think it was just for me.
Wow.
We were very small. When I was in 7th grade, we were 3 kids in the class.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up? Like what town was it or village?
Well, they call it Tabanshu.
Well, I was going to to spell that, but good luck with that.
You're not going to spell that. But it's close to Bloemfontein, and Bloemfontein is in the center of South Africa, and that's our legal city. So that's the big city, and it's literally in the middle of the country. And so that's where I grew up.
Was South Africa, so this would have been the 70s, there was
Apartheid?
a lot of racial turmoil then, right? It sounds like it's still going on. And was it kind of a poor country then? Or was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
In general, it was, well, most of us that I knew at the time was poor. Not a lot in the house, not a lot of food to eat. And obviously there was people that had a lot more money, especially when I went to college. There was a lot of kids there that had money, and those were usually the kids that did go to college. And people that grew up like me, very few of us had the opportunity to go.
So you grew up in the middle. I pulled up the map.
Yes.
That's where it is right there, give or take. So it wasn't on the coast or anything. It was right in the middle of it.
And so you this donor paid your way, you got through high school, and then you went to college. Did you pay your own way through college?
That is the big thing. Yes, I did get small loans. My dad didn't help me pay for anything, so I got. He did help me actually to get the first year and second year a loan at the bank, but that did not pay everything. So I would do a whole bunch of small things to make money, and I've done leather work, and I've done that actually in high school already. To pay for anything that I need and so on that I need, not what I want, because I couldn't afford that. And so when I was in college, stuff that I did to pay for myself was I did security. I started a mobile disco that I grew up into doing photography. So I did photography for weddings, and then later on I did the videos. So I would do the video, the photography, and the music for weddings, and I did over 300 weddings at the time. So that's how I paid for my college, and stuff that I did. I obviously didn't have a lot of money, so I would take books, our books that we need to use to study. I will borrow my friends' books, and then I would go to the photocopier and I would photocopy the books and put it in a binder, and I still have it here, believe it or not.
Wow.
I saw that you were also in the military. Were you required to be in the military, or was it a volunteer sign up?
Yeah. No, at the time we were conscripted, I think is the English word for it. So we we didn't have a choice. We had to go. So
And this was after you graduated from college?
Yes. Yeah. So I was you had the choice. You could go right after school, or you can go after you finish college. And I decided to go to school first because I was already going at it. And then I went afterwards.
Yeah. Tell us about your military life. How many years did you have to serve?
I was at the end of it, so I did only 1 year, but most of my friends did 2 years. So we were right at the end. I was there in 1991. So that was just when all the things started to happen and change.
Okay. So tell us about your military life. What kind of lessons did you learn from that?
Well, when I went to the military, I can remember on basics, my ex-wife now, we had two little boys, Rico and Edric, and Edric was just born before I went to the army, and she would, and that was in basics, and she would come and stand at the fence and hand Edric and Rico over the fence, and I would run inside, and I will probably get in a lot of trouble, but then I would show the guys, because I was very proud of my little babies. And then on basics, I couldn't go home because they keep you in the place for the 3 months. And then after that, I could get a pass, and I would stay at home and go to the army.
Was it a hard life? Was that army life hard?
The army life, what made it hard is, again, there was no money.
Yeah.
So
they didn't pay you to be in there?
Or they didn't pay you very well.
You don't.
Okay.
You can't raise
it's kind of like,
two kids with the money that you get in the army. But Yes, and then so when I had weekends off after the 3 months, I would continue with my videos and photography and so on.
Okay. And so you ended up here in the United States. Where did that dream start? When and where did that dream start?
Yeah, that's
to come to
interesting. Yeah.
America?
Yeah. I think from a very young age, I realized that if I want to be,
It's okay.
Well, if you want to be successful, you gotta look outside of your.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've had a lot of curves and changes in your life. It's been hard to navigate.
yeah, if you want to become something, you have to take control of your life.
Sure.
I read that when you came here, you sold everything. You moved to the U.S. at 34 years of age. You had 10 suitcases and 4 kids, ages 1.5 to 10 years old, and all you had was $7,000 in your pocket. And so your ex-wife did not come with you.
No, she did. Yeah, she did.
She did. She came to the United States.
She came with me, and she lives just south of Austin. But I think I've always realized that I have to make things happen for myself, because if I wait for other people or wait for things to just happen, it's just not going to happen. So from very young, I realized that I need to study. I need to, because that is, in my opinion, the key out of poverty is to study and learn, because that is something
it's
nobody can take away from you.
Oh, that's true. Yes, that's true.
You can take your money away. You can take your everything that you own away, but there's something that nobody can take away.
The knowledge that you've built in and the skills that you have, nobody can ever take that away.
Nobody
from you.
can take that away. So over the years, you can take me and put me wherever you want. I will the next day keep going, because there is something they just can't take away.
There's no quit in you for sure.
What I want to know is, how did you land in Austin? Of all the places in the United States, this is where you landed. So was Austin just kind of on your radar already, or did you land somewhere else? And
yeah, you see, that's again, you have to have a dream, and I always wanted to work for myself, and I always wanted to be in control of my own life and where I'm going and what I want to do. And part of that is and that's where the freedom comes from too. And so when I looked at the whole of USA in 98 around, I was looking and see where would I want to go. And the reason why I picked Texas was from Austin, and at that point I didn't even know what Austin was. I was starting to apply for jobs, and I found out about Austin, and so I realized Austin, Houston, Dallas, and Fort and San Antonio is. Austin is within 300 miles of 4 of the biggest cities in the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
So from a business point of view, if you have to pick where you want to be,
that's smart.
Austin is the place. So back in that time, I realized that, and then I came to the U.S. and I stayed with a friend of mine up in New York, and I was looking for somebody to help me a job and to see if I can do it. So I was here for the 2-month vacation. That was when the Aggies, the bonfire fell. So that I was in a hotel in Houston when it happened. And then I somehow get connected with a friend of mine that went with me to college in South Africa. And after college, he came to UT. And Barry, and he's coming this weekend visiting for me.
Oh,
and
that's great.
So I hooked up with him, and he said, "But I'm working for this company, Klotz and Associates, and I'm going to organize an interview with him." So they were interested, and
it was an engineering position,
engineering position, and so they offered me a job, and that's how my whole.
I want to go back to the original dream, original idea to go from South Africa to the United States. Yeah. Where did that originate from?
Since I was very small, I
Did you remember somebody telling you about it and thinking that's where I want to go?
no. We didn't have internet. We don't know, but we had the encyclopedias.
Okay.
So I would look at the encyclopedias and just read. I mean, who doesn't want to be in the U.S., right?
Well, yeah. But the idea has to start somewhere because there's so many great places in the world. The U.S., I think, is probably one of the best, if not the best.
It was
but
probably
still.
Farrah Fawcett. You probably saw Farrah Fawcett.
Probably was.
Now that you mention it, probably.
That's about the right era, too. That's a good one, Michelle.
Yeah.
Well, so then you end up here in Austin. You take this engineering job, civil engineering job, and what'd you say? I think you said you were designing detention ponds. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I actually, they put me in Lufkin. That's in East Texas. They had a small office there, and I guess at the time there was not a lot of engineers that want to go and live in Lufkin.
Yeah. No,
So I worked in that office, and I was in the detention ponds and site work, and so I designed those kind of things.
that's so and the way your life has turned now to what you do now. You actually mentor people now on how to start their own business and
Yes.
dreaming bigger.
Yeah. But before I get to that, since you've been here now, so what year did you move here? 2000?
2000.
Okay. So you've been here 25 years.
Yep.
Is there anything you regret about that? You ever sometimes think, wow, I'd like to go back to South Africa, or are you just all in here?
Yeah. I'm the type of person that if I take a little time to make a decision, but when I make the decision, I'm 110% behind that decision. So over my life, I've never had any regrets of any decisions that I've made because when I go for it, I don't see a negative in it. I don't see this. I'm going to make
see
this
the way
work.
forward, and that's where you go.
And that's
I
how.
do that too.
When I left South Africa, I sold everything. The last stuff we just gave away, and I told myself because in general, when people leave their countries, they try to make sure if something goes wrong,
they
go
can
back.
Yeah.
And I just told myself that's not going to happen.
So it's like as you were coming here, you burned all the bridges
It's
behind you.
done.
There's no way to go
Well,
back.
you also had 4 children that were looking towards you to not fail. So you had more than just yourself or a spouse. You have 4 little souls that you're looking after. You're like, okay, Dad's got to make it.
Yeah, and the what happens today is my kids will all 3. My other son doesn't have kids, but the 2 boys and the girl, they will tell me often, thank me for bringing them to the U.S.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's like, man, I made the right decision back in the day to give my kids an opportunity that they never would have had if we stayed where we were.
Well, one actually serves in the military too, right? He now serves this country.
Exactly.
And he was born in South Africa?
Yeah, he was born in South Africa, and he decided by himself he wants to go to the military. So he was actually just left this morning back to base, and he was in Iraq for the last 9 months, and he just got back. And what I come mad at him is because obviously I'm very concerned about my son, and he never told me while he was there that there was attacks on the base that he was. And I mean, I don't even know if I can say these things, but he told me of attacks and stuff that we don't know and that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And he just didn't want to tell me.
Well, yeah, he's not wanting Dad to worry.
I didn't even know we still had troops over there. This is in Iraq?
And inside Iraq, I can show you pictures.
That's funny. I didn't even know we had troops there.
No, you do.
Oh, okay.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you was how hard was it to when you moved over here? I know that everybody, what is on the tip of everybody's tongue right now is the immigration, the influx of immigration that's coming over here, and most people that came over here to work and do it legally. How hard was it for you to go through the process?
Yeah.
for you to get your citizenship, for your children to get
You're
your
an American
citizenship.
citizen now?
Yes.
A dual citizen, right? Do you have a
No.
dual citizen? Oh,
No,
so
I did not even try to be a dual citizen because this is what I want to be, and I will die in Austin, by the way. Yes, it was very difficult. I can tell you something simple that happened during my divorce. Because for us that been through a divorce, it's a shitty time, right?
Yeah, it is. It's rough.
Your mind is over there. I don't know if we're going to talk about me raising my 4 children by myself, but it was just me and my 4 children. I had nobody helping me, or really nobody, because we were here just for 4 years. But I got a couple of tickets, speeding tickets in that time, like 4. I mean, it was 5, a whole bunch of them.
You got a lead foot.
4 or 5.
Well, yeah, but one of them is the chains on the trailer was not right, and that was in Wilkes County. And in 2010, that was like four years later, I was driving in Georgetown, Williamson County.
Yeah, good old Williamson County.
Good old, and I was driving right over I-35, and my dad came and visited us, so he's in the car with me, and Rico was in the car, and I saw the cop. And he pulled me over. I thought, okay, I did something wrong. I pulled over. And then I saw a second set of lights coming in. And I've watched enough TV at the time. I said, oh, what did I do? Because there's a second cop coming. And they didn't want to tell me anything. They locked me up, put me in the back of the car, take me to jail. And then I treat me like a criminal, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't. They call it a personal bond. I had to pay like $1,000 to get out of jail. Plus, I had to pay all the tickets and stuff. And there was a guy that's with me in jail that had a drug. He had drugs on him. He could get out without paying anything. So I was kind of mad and everything. But Heather came, she paid it, and I left. But why tell you the story? So when I went for my interview for my green card, to become a U.S. citizen. The officer that sat in front of me asked you answer those questions, and they asked you a whole bunch of questions and needed to figure out if I'm really here. And Heather and I was married at the time. We had 8 kids in the house. We've been married like 5 years at the time. So, I mean, I didn't make that up, right? So the lawyer that was with us said, man, this was the easiest interview that I've seen because, I mean, we were real. But she said, I can't sign off on it. I said, oh, why not? She said, no, you were in jail. So she had to get somebody else signing off on it that everything is good and I could become a U.S. citizen.
Geez,
so
boy.
I just didn't pay a ticket and I almost didn't make it.
And you almost did become a citizen.
How much do you figure that you paid overall to become an American citizen? Without the speeding tickets?
I honestly can't remember, but it was in the tens of thousands of dollars between me and my 4 kids because I paid for them all. It was quite a while ago, but it was definitely way more than $10,000 and all the tests we had to do and so on.
Yeah. So you're working at this, you started your own engineering firm, is that right?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I want to get to the point where you started Amanzi.
Yes.
So
that's a Rico story,
Yes.
kind of. I remember all of this. I was friends with Heather, his wife, prior to her ever meeting him. And I remember when they first started Amanzi, and it was like, I think we were probably one of the first couple of people that actually rented a water slide. Yeah.
So this was, what were you doing when you started the business?
I did construction at the time.
Okay.
And and then my oldest son, it was not his fault that we had 8 children in the house, right? And so I felt compelled to help him to go to college, and The only thing that I knew at the time and still do is instead of going to get money somewhere is just to start the business.
Right.
So that's how I started. And I woke Heather up at 2 a.m. in the morning. And there's actually a video on our website about that. And I said, we're going to start the potty rental business. And say, why? And I said, well.
That's my question. Why a party rental business, Willem?
Yeah. So I was working 5 days a week construction, and I had to find something to do on the weekend. So the potty rental business fit really well in there. So for a very long time, 3-4 years, while building the business, I worked 7 days a week.
That's crazy. And Amanzi means water.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's a Zulu word for water, and I was looking for a name, and I think Amanzi is a great word.
And so, what was you started out with what to get that business going?
A slide, just a
Was it
regular
just a
slide, right?
slide?
Yes. What I did was, at the time, I did a lot of house slabs.
Okay.
So people would give me a deposit for this, and this is what I did. And while I was building it, and I had accounts for my concrete, I took that money and I bought a water slide. And so I used that money there. And then I had to flip that very, very quick so that by the end that I have to pay my concrete so that's how I rolled it in the beginning was, take money here, spend it there.
Not afraid of leveraging, are you?
No,
That's wow.
No, I didn't.
So are you talking about when you first started those like inflatable ones that
Yes.
you blow them up and then they slide down about 10 feet or something? So that was what you started with.
Yeah,
And then, how were you spreading the word on that when you got started?
Well, at that point, you still put an ad into the newspaper.
Oh, jeez, wow.
That's that long. It's not even that long ago, right? 2009.
That's true.
So I had an ad, and then it takes a year for you to get into Yellow Pages. So those were the two places that I advertised back in the day.
Okay.
And it's not even that long.
And then it just kind of took a life of its own. Also,
Yes.
like one water slide led to 2 water slides, led to 3, led to this whole conglomerate. I know at the very beginning, you guys were having a hard time. I remember talking to Heather. You're all having a hard time trying to find workers, even back then, to kind of help set up because it was the weekend or whatever. And, sometimes you'd have to pick it back up at like midnight or whatever. But you have 4 locations now spread out all over Texas. And you're not just water slides now. Like you're mechanical bulls, and you are full on, you probably have a carousel we could probably rent too.
So
I mean,
it's amazing to me. So you start out with something that probably a lot of people do as a side business, those kind of little party rental things, and they stay small where they make a few $100s on the weekend, but that's not you. You did did you have a vision to do what you're doing now when you started this?
Yes, when in 2012 around there, I was still doing the construction, and I did the party rentals. And something that I just want to mention to carry on was in the beginning it was me, Rico, and Heather, and we would make all the deliveries. If it's not a lot, me and Rico will do it. If it's more, it was me, Rico, and Heather.
Okay.
And then we will go to Home Depot there on I-35, and we will scoop up some of the people that stand in front of Home Depot. And Heather will be with her. Well, I don't think she had long nails at the time because we couldn't afford that. She would go out and make the deliveries, and I will go out to make deliveries, and Rico will go out. And that's how, for the first few years, it was just the 3 of us with help. And then on the holidays, we had a friend of Rico that helped us. His name is Will. And so that's how we got this whole thing going, just doing it all by itself. But in 20, and so when I at some point looked at the financials for the construction and the financials for the potty rentals, I realized that if I can scale the potty rental business, that this is a really good business to do. And so that's how I then stopped doing the construction, and I focused on the potty rentals. And
you have so many cool toys
Yep.
too. And is there like I remember a couple of years ago you were going to a convention, like I think it was in Vegas but you're kind of like the pioneer now, like when you're going to Vegas, like do these manufacturers of some of these like mechanical bulls or whatever, some of these interactive toys, are they coming to you guys and saying, hey, what are your customers? What are you wanting to see? Or are you like, have you been able to, I guess, help design some of these things? Or because you guys came up with something. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. Was it the bull that you guys came up with at the UT? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did a lot of custom stuff. I'm very well known in our community in this industry, and I know all the manufacturers. They all know me. And I help some of them what they think. They will send me pictures or whatever they think they want to do, and I help them with that. But to connect with you, this industry, when I started with it, had to do a lot. People do it from their homes. There's not many that can that scale it, and they mainly
that's
use
what
it.
I see.
Yeah, they mainly use it as a lifestyle type of business, and that's totally fine with it. I believe people, if that is what they want, that's 100% fine. And when I help people with their businesses and so on, and with their goals, and I tell everybody, your goal and my goal is two different things, and Tom's goal. So we need to first figure out what is your goals, what do you want, where do you want to be one day, and follow that dream instead of looking at other people and what they do.
And comparing yourself to them. Yeah.
Yes, my dream was just to make this bigger and to build a life that a book that I want to write about, build a life that you don't need a vacation from. And we'll probably get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, we will. I want to ask you, so you built this from just a couple of water slides that you were dropping off in people's backyards to this huge business now. Have you had any big stumbles along the way that I wish I hadn't done that?
Well, there's obviously some of the equipment that we bought. But
that didn't work out the way you thought.
Yeah, that didn't work out. But in general, I'm pretty happy with our investments. And we do big type of events. If you've been to the UT football game, the last 4 years, we started very little. We just had the mechanical bull in front of the stadium. And today, Amanzi does the whole Vivo Boulevard. So if you go there, and you've been on the Ferris wheel, that's our
yours.
Yep, that's ours. The zip line, all those things that's on Vivo Boulevard, it's ours. And so we've been doing it the last 4 years, and we're going to do it this year too. And then we do bigger events where
bigger than that. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we've done Samsung's event, and there's 8,000 people there. So we provide all the fun. And the biggest food that we provided for a business is, I don't want to call the name out, but they were 2,500 people, and we provide all the food for their picnic. So it's 2,500 people with their families and the employees, and we provide all the fun and games. So we literally put on the whole thing for these companies.
So this is just turnkey for
Yes.
whatever UT or whatever. They call you and they say, we want you to do Bevo Boulevard or whatever, and it's going to be X amount, and they just write you a check, and you guys take care of everything.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
basically
What is by far, I think, your biggest expense that you have in your business? Is it your insurance that you have to pay? Is it your employee federal taxes? What is it? What is the big thing that kind of stands up? You're like, wow.
Yeah, no, obviously labor is always the biggest component of that. So we have a big component. Last year, in the peak of our season, we had over 50 full-time employees, and we employ anywhere from 100 to 200 part-time employees.
Wow.
And so that is the biggest cost. The second one is the warehouse cost, because we are in almost a 40,000 square foot building in Austin. We have a 15,000 square foot building in Houston and 10,000 square foot building in Dallas. And so that's the second biggest cost. And then our insurance is very big.
I was going to say, so yeah. And I bet keeping track of where all this stuff is a chore too, isn't it? Like you have so much stuff, but the liability from all these employees, if you're doing things like Ferris wheels, how do you make sure that the employees that you have that put those things together where people could really get hurt, how are you making sure those things are happening?
We have a very good training program. We call it the Amanzi U for Amanzi University. So we put them through that, and so they get trained in the university how to do all these things, and then they also get trained in the field.
Okay.
So yes, we make very sure that they understand how to do it. And back in the day, it was me and Heather and Rico, and we were in control of everything. Today, we're not in control of everything, so we're shifting towards helping these people that work for us understand why we do it. And if you look at our mission, vision, and values, we've worked with them to understand why we do this business. And the big thing, if you read it, is our mission is we create delight and entertainment for people of all ages. And how I explain it to them, and our little word is we create smiles. Or we,
that's a great tagline.
It's on our T-shirts, it's on our vehicles and our trucks. And it's amazing when you build your employees and how they think, is that we're here to bring happiness and smiles and deliver the smiles. And they will tell each other, I'm out here, I'm going to go and make some smiles. And how we look at it is Amanzi, it's me, Heather, and Rico. We started it for our families. And then this family take care of our employees and their families. And then how I explain to them is now we as a bigger family provide smiles and deliver delight and entertainment for the people in our community. And that's really why Amanzi is there.
That's cool. That's
Willem,
really cool.
do you ever step back? Have you ever given yourself an opportunity to step back and kind of look at what this empire that you've built and maybe think back to where you're still that 9-year-old kid on the street corner selling newspapers, going home and your mom's struggling and raising kids, and you're like, I did that. I did that.
I've been reflecting about it the last year because I want to write this book and explain a lot of these things. So for the last year, I started to reflect back and think about these things. And also, when you grow up like that, you live in a survival world. You have all these survival things that you just to make life work. And then, but when you get to a point that those tactics doesn't work anymore. So you need to mature and start to look different at the world and to understand what do I need to do now? Because what I did when I was younger to just survive in this city world, how it is now totally different, how you make your decisions, how you look at the world, because our frame of reference is very important. And you can't continue in the frame of reference as in a survival mode.
Yeah, you mentioned that in your bio, going from a surviving to thriving mindset. And you think that's the secret to your success?
Yes, no question. You have to personally grow. You have to reflect and look at your life and realize and notice what is the things that I used to survive to how can I now really live a life that is abundant and that is there for us, everybody.
Wow. Somewhere along the way, you mentioned in your bio that you have started a health journey. So tell us about that. What prompted that, and tell us about where you started and where you're going.
Yeah.
And what
And
are
did
you doing.
Heather bully you into it?
Yeah, Heather is the one that's always, I mean, you tell her, she's a rule minder. I'm not a rule minder. So that was kind of a very, I don't want to say difficult, but something that Heather you had to get used to, because I'm going to a little bit to the side, but we went to Europe and I rent a car because I want to drive everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait for a bus and a train and so on. So, and then she would study and say, but they say by 6 o'clock you need to do this and that. And I said, bullshit, I'm just driving. So she's a rule minder. But one of my life goals has always been to be healthy, because in the beginning you don't understand it so well, but when you start to get 56 years old, you understand that your wealth is your health. Mm-hmm. And so that was always a big goal, a life goal of mine. And up to my early 50s, I did really well on that. And I was obviously still doing, picking up the stuff and making it deliver, because it's heavy stuff. Yeah. And I worked with it. 20-year-olds, and this old man has to just do it. But then I started to do less and less of that, and what happened is I got bigger and bigger, and sat more in the office and wasn't very active. So when I saw the scale at 240 pounds and I'm 5'10", I said, dude, you need to make a difference. There's something that's not going well. And the first thing that people would tell me, you need to use Ozempic. And I said, no, this is South African. I don't use that shit. I will do the difficult thing, and that is changing my lifestyle, because I knew even if you use Ozempic, eventually you have to change your lifestyle, and it doesn't work.
Right, that's right.
And I studied it, obviously, and I said, nope, that's not going to be for me. And so I started with this journey of getting back into shape. And so me and Heather would work together, and we were running. And because of my background as a cyclist in my younger years, I was a pretty good cyclist. I struggled to run because the muscles are different. Yeah. So when we were in Europe now, I started to run with Heather, and my legs was actually good. And when we were in Venice, we were there for 3 weeks. I could only run. When we were in Rome for 3 weeks, I bought a bike and I was cycling there.
Didn't y'all run like the Paris? Y'all ran in Paris, right? Was it like New Year's Day or Christmas Day or something like that?
Yeah, we run the Rome. We ran around the Colosseum.
Oh, the Colosseum. That's right. Cool. That's right.
Yeah, so that's where I started. So I was 240 pounds in July of last year, August. And by December, I was down to 200 pounds.
Man, that's great. Yeah. And so you're doing that with exercise. What else are you doing to
very simple. I obviously read a lot about it, and sugar come up every single time. So I stopped eating sugar. My coffee was terrible, and it's still terrible.
Yeah, I know.
I drink it with milk and sugar, and now I drink black coffee, and after 6-7 months, I still struggle, but every day I drink my coffee black. So I dumped the sugar, don't eat any sugar. Okay. And then the second thing is processed foods. So we stopped eating processed foods. We used to go eat out every day. Mm-hmm. So Heather buy no food that she says it's on the outside of
on the
aisle.
Outside of the store. Yeah, yep.
I didn't know that, but she told me that. So she's making us better foods. Our food choices are a lot better, and I've never had a problem with alcohol. So that was a good one to just cut that one out. So those are basically the two things, plus the alcohol that I know is an easy distraction. Yeah. But it's never been for me. We were always just on occasion drink
a glass of wine, or something.
Something like that. So that was not tough. But that's what I did, and I'm continue doing that.
And you have a goal to run a marathon in under 4 hours?
Yeah.
Have you picked a race out, or is that
Yes.
yeah?
Yeah. We're gonna. So Heather was signing us up for all this stuff, and so when we came back from Europe, the Austin Marathon was there. So she signed us up for the 5K. So that's my first race that I ran, 5K. I did it in 27 minutes and something.
That's not bad.
59. I mean, I didn't know. I just did my best.
Yeah.
But my engine is big because of the cycling. So I was running in zone 4 for like 2 minutes less of the whole distance.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Yeah. So
that means his heart rate is really, really high. Zone 4 is high.
Yeah. Now, for the people that know, is going to know, I feed all my stuff into ChatGPT.
Okay.
So all my data gets in there, and it helps me to.
Have you ever used Strava?
Oh, I use Strava.
Okay. All right,
Strava. And so then when we're done with the race, Heather said, okay, because they say you can sign up for cheaper the next year, and she wanted to sign up for the half marathon. And true to who I am, I said, man, that's not going to be a challenge. We need to make a challenge. Right? So
you signed up for the marathon.
So Heather and I and Anna, who works with us, we got her to sign up for the marathon too. So now and then I said, well, I can go run it, but I'm not the type of person that's just going to go run it. I need to, so I'm in ChatGPT, I feed it all my information, and I told it that I, did 400 miles in a week cycling back in the day. How does it influence how I do now? And it said that I can do 4 hours. So I said, okay, that's going to be my goal.
Wow.
So I don't know. I'm going to be 60. So we're going to see if I'm going to make it.
What can you do a marathon in? Like what was yours?
So I'm 62 now, and my fastest ever marathon is 3:38, and I did one in February last year, and I did like 4:02. So it's when you're 60,
doable.
It's doable.
Yeah.
When you're and I'm pretty much a lifelong runner, so it's
I could
doable,
do it in 4:02, 4 weeks and 2 days.
Yeah. Willem, I'll give you some advice. Austin is a hard one to do it at because it's hilly, and where the hills come are when you are just, your tank is empty. So that's a hard one to do. You'll have to run the first 20 probably a little faster than you think you should, because but not blow yourself up.
Yeah. But, I'm still learning about the tactics and stuff.
Yeah.
But they say there's a cheaper one, or an easier one, not cheaper, easier one in Arizona.
The Mesa Marathon.
Yeah.
That's the one I did 4:02 in. So we did that last year. Houston, I've done Houston 3 or 4 times. Houston's a really good one, and because it's flat as a board except for right at the end. There's 2 little underpasses. Like at mile 24, 25, your legs are cooked, and those little tiny underpasses that go up like 30 feet. They look like mountains at that point.
But have you ever run around the Colosseum in Rome?
No,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I applaud you. I think, are you going to get any? Are you using ChatGPT kind of to coach you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Have you ever heard?
I have not heard that. I might try that. So.
You need to do that. Every day when I'm done, I put it in there, and I've got everything on my watch, and so I take that.
Is that a Phoenix? Is that a Phoenix? Garmin Phoenix? The same watch I have.
Yeah.
Oh God, they're
geeking
running nerding.
out about running.
Nerding.
Just be quiet.
And so I feed all that stuff into ChatGPT every single day because it remembers it. I got it all in a folder, and then it tracks how I do, and it asks me how do I feel and so on, and then we adjust the plan, and it's like my own trainer.
That's cool. I have to try that out.
Yeah. You see, back in the day when I cycled so much, it was even before computers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you had to learn your body and how your body feel, and there was no coaches and things like that to teach you. So you learn a lot about your body yourself. So what I do now is, because I do know my body, is I just use these data to help me to become faster and better very quick. So I check all my my data and
Yeah.
how it gives you those graphs, and
Right.
so you stay in that you don't overtrain and undertrain, because I've overtrained when I was younger.
Yeah,
and that's a
yeah.
terrible place to be.
It's a fine balance finding the
Yeah.
because you can undertrain where you're not getting any results because you're just going out and doing what we call junk miles. You're just like,
Yeah.
well, I ran 9 miles. Yeah, but you ran like, your heart rate barely got up, or you can just go kill yourself and then your body breaks down. But
Yeah.
there's actually a trend right now where you were talking about like smartwatches and stuff. Some runners are going away from those now because then you have to run by feel and you're not checking the numbers all the time. You're like, okay, you're thinking about the effort more than looking
Yes.
at your watch and going, well, my heart rate is 140. That means it's hard. You think, okay, you're listening to your body. You're paying attention to where you're breathing and your heart rate and how your legs feel.
Yeah.
So,
And
Michelle,
I-
No, I
Michelle
think
just
it's
fell
fast.
asleep.
No,
Sorry.
that's just fascinating. I was going over my rapid fire questions, but that's pretty fascinating.
I want to hear from you, Willem, how your 4-hour marathon goes. So,
Yeah, I would like to do it closer to 3:45 if I can, because then you can qualify for Boston.
For Boston, I know. That was my goal at Mesa, and I was on track until mile 22, and then the wheels came off.
Yeah.
That's marathoning.
Yeah,
Now.
I
That's how it
mean, you
goes.
have to have a goal, right? You
Yeah,
have to.
yeah,
You have
you
to
do.
shoot for something. If you shoot for the easy one, then you're going to make it.
Yeah, that's right.
So you have to pick something that you think is going to be above your. And
It's guys like you that have pushed yourself in business and in life. Marathons are an interesting little snippet of how you've lived your life, because you will get to a point in a marathon where your body says, dude, we're done. And your brain is going, hey, we need to stop. And the only thing that keeps you going is the will to keep on going. That's the only thing that keeps you, those legs turning over, is just you making yourself go, because your body's screaming at you, stop. You're hurting us. We need to stop. And you just got to keep going and know that you'll be okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, Michelle.
That sounds like so much fun. That makes me want to
I
do it.
love to get to that point. I have said that to you before. So we're going to do the rim to rim to rim in the Grand Canyon in April, which is you go start at the south rim, go down to the bottom of the canyon, climb up to the other side, and then come back and do it in one day. And it's 11,000 feet of climbing. And there is a point where you think, I can't get this done. I just can't do it. And that's what makes or breaks the athlete right there. And I love knowing that I can push myself beyond that. That's it's such a cool feeling when you get to the finish going, I didn't think I could do that, but I made myself do it. That's how you feel.
Yeah, and the thing is too, it helps you in your life too.
It does.
Because our life gets to a point that I can't do this anymore, especially when I went through a divorce and I just pushed through it. And that's where
One
the
step after
athleticism helped, because on the bike, you also get that I can't more.
Right.
And, back in the day when I did it, there was no a cell phone I can call somebody. So I will remember bonking out and I have to lay next to the street in a road and just recuperate. I could call nobody, and then you have to get back on the bike and you had to somehow get back to home. But that is really helping you in life too.
It does.
That's a lot like raising, I think, 8 kids too. You just got to lay on the side of the road.
Do you know who Jens Voigt is? He's a former professional cyclist. Now he's an analyst on TV. But his big thing, he has T-shirts and stuff now, is "Shut up, legs," because that was his motto. He was like, "My legs are killing me, but I'm just telling them to shut up." So, but go ahead. You got some rapid fires?
I do. I have some rapid fire. Okay, so they're kind of modified a little bit. But what was your favorite food in South Africa growing up?
Heather actually told me yesterday, because she was all excited about this. And I need to say this too. So it's good you asked the question. In South Africa, we grew up eating meat. So when we visit there, Heather has to eat meat every day.
Oh, jeez.
And the funny thing is, when I'm here and people ask, okay, what are we do now? We're going to braai. We call it braai. We're going to barbecue. It's not really barbecue, but similar. And then say, what is the side dishes? And I'll say chicken. We eat a lot of meat.
So is it like lion meat or is it just like cow meat? What kind of meat is it?
No, it's mainly cow meat.
Okay, I'm going to clarify here.
I think they call that beef, Michelle.
Beef, meat, beef, yeah, cow meat.
Yeah.
What is your favorite product that you guys rent out? What's the most fun that you have on?
Yeah, I think the Ferris wheel is very very good. I like it. People like it, and if they can afford it, people like to buy that.
We're gonna have to get that Ferris wheel there, Steve, for sure.
Did you just forget my name?
No, I forgot where I was.
Ferris wheel there.
What's your name, Steve? Stop. It's because my microphone fell off earlier. I'm paranoid to touch my microphone. Because you're from South Africa and he's in the news a lot right now, I want to know what your opinion is on Elon Musk and what he's doing. Personally, I'm a fan favorite. I love him. So
yeah, I think the big thing about South Africans is we like to say what we think. We that's in our how we grow up. And what I see with Elon is that, and he gives people shit on X and so on. And I understand all those things and why he do those things because it's so typical South African. And we're very direct. I saw he called somebody little man yesterday on that dude in Europe. But, and I don't think he means it bad, but it's just the way that we talk. And that's really a lot of South African thing. And that was one of my big things when I moved to the U.S. was to understand how our culture works in South Africa and the culture over here. And growing as a person, I've had to learn that I need to calm down when I talk to people. I need to tone it down. I can't be so direct. So as I, been here for longer and longer, right now I'm a lot more softer when I talk to people. I would not immediately say what I think. So I will think and I say, dude, you need to relax a little bit. Let's just be a little bit, let's reword how I'm going to say it. So yes, I'm a fan of Elon. I have a Cybertruck. I couldn't wait to get one, and I think he's doing great for humanity, and the guy just think way beyond.
He's a way big thinker, and you as a businessman have to appreciate that he's into cutting costs and only spending money in ways that actually are effective. That's my big thing on that is why are we wasting all this money? There's no sense to it. Only bureaucrats think that. And
why are they complaining about the fraud and waste? But that's a whole nother rabbit hole that we're going down.
Removing the fraud and waste, they're complaining.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Okay, so what is out of the 37 countries that you have visited? What would you go back to over and over again?
By far, Italy, no question. I've been through. I've been to 37 countries. We love Rome, Venice. We've been 3 weeks in Venice, 3 weeks in Rome. I cycled down the path, the Via Appica path that the Romans built 2,000 years ago, and it's still there. I cycled down that, the aqueduct around there.
That's really cool. Well, you know what I was most surprised about when I was in Rome was all the graffiti, and it disgusted me because it's so beautiful. There's so many historic things that are around there, and just the tagging that was going on there. But it was really cool to be able to see the aqueduct. That was one of the first things coming out of the airport and then seeing the aqueduct. It was like, oh, wow. And then you're driving through and you're like, oh, look, oh my God. You don't even know where to look.
It's 1,000 years old.
Everything is just insane. Yeah. Okay. So now my final question is, here you are, this very successful man, this mentor to many others in this business. What advice would you give to that 9-year-old Willem that's sitting on that street corner and selling those newspapers and buying yourself food and not your siblings' food?
I think it all starts with the dream. You have to have a dream and make it happen.
That's a good one. Have a dream and make it happen. How can people find out more about Amanzi?
They can go to our website, Amanzi Potty Rentals.
And it's AMANZI partyrentals.com.
Yes, and then you can go to all the social media channels and just type in Amanzi Potty Rentals and you'll find us there.
You guys still do, like if Michelle wants to rent a slide for herself on the weekend, you still do that, put it up in her backyard, or are you too big for that now?
No, they do that, Steve.
we do.
I used to give epic end of school year parties. If you ask
You
anybody
are a
around
very
here,
good party planner.
I used to give epic parties, and Heather would help me. And actually,
I want the damn Ferris wheel.
hey, well, I just want to tell you that I had a Texas Supreme Court judge sliding down one of these slides at one of my parties one time, for sure. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Willem, for being here. I really appreciate it. You are such a success story, an American success story, and
very inspirational. Your
absolutely.
story. I'm hoping and I know our listeners will find this very inspiring. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and I'm very happy to be in the U.S. and to help other people being better and just give back to the opportunity that I had to be here.
Yeah, well, when you write your book and it comes out, we'll have you back on and we'll talk about that.
Yes, that would be actually great.
All right. Well, thanks, Willem.
Thank you very much.
Find your joy at Jovi Belterra. Life is better here. This thoughtfully designed 55-plus community is paired with resort-style amenities and social activities. They offer 1- and 2-bedroom homes located in Dripping Springs, the gateway to the Hill Country. Make friends, make memories, make time for you at Jovi Belterra. Live JoviBelterra.com, 737-387-6870.
from rodeo clowns, teachers or doctors, and everyone in between, Texans have one thing in common: hard work deserves smart banking. At Southstar Bank, whether you're buying your first home, building a dream ranch, or just managing daily finances, our 16 branches across Central Texas are here for you. Southstar Bank, trusted by professionals, backed by tradition, and built for Texas. SouthstarBank.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. NMLS 410624.
Nomic Power Solutions, keeping you powered up.
Get to know your local full-service Generac dealer.
Cody and Dylan with Nomic Power Solutions are a veteran-owned, Texas-based Generac dealer and installer.
Offering low monthly payment options, it's never been easier to gain independence from the grid.
Call or text 512-387-4232 or visit nomicpower.com. Follow on Instagram at Nomic Power for updates.
Turnkey service including design, plumbing, electrical, and permits.
They even offer set-it-and-forget-it maintenance plans. Nomic Power Solutions.
Protect your home. Protect your family. Stay ready.
This show is brought to you in part by the Mallet Integrity Team, serving Dripping Springs, Austin, and the surrounding areas of Central Texas since 2004. When you need the best real estate advice and service, give them a call at 512-829-2062 or email them at malletintegrityteam.com.
You know you like us, so go now to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave us a review. Why don't ya? We love your feedback and comments. Email us at malletandmichelle@gmail.com.
Thanks for putting up with us.